7 years. 7 years of my life were spent inside that little salon on Birch Street. I still remember the day we opened it. Vikram and I were partners, and there wasn't a single cent in the place except for 2 second-hand chairs. He was my best friend since college, who had helped me throw up after my first ever drink. We built the place, tile by tile, mirror by mirror. All the clients, all the hard work, and all the money had been earned the old-fashioned way. It was a Tuesday when Vikram called me at around 7 a.m. His voice was calm, almost robotic. "Rahul, the pipe had burst in the back. The ceiling is ruined, and the place is completely soaked. We need to close for at least 2 weeks for the repairs." I hurried to the salon, but he had already put up a closed for repairs. "We'll reopen soon." A sign. I trusted him. He was my best friend, and I believed that he knew what he was doing. "I'll take care of the insurance from the house," I said. He smiled at me and patted my shoulder. That smile was the last thing I saw before he walked away. For 2 weeks, I sat at home and called all of our clients, telling them that we would be back soon. I sent them messages over WhatsApp, assuring them that we would open again. "We'll be back and better than ever," I wrote. They all replied positively, saying that they would be waiting for me. "Take your time, we miss you guys," one of them wrote. "Can't wait for the reopening." My phone lit up with messages from them. Every night, Vikram texted me about the progress. "Tiles are done," he once wrote. "The painting is underway. The new lights look great." I didn't suspect anything. The first message I got was from Meera, one of our oldest clients. She had been coming to our salon since the very beginning. Back then, I used to wash her hair myself because we didn't have any other workers. She texted me at around 11:47 p.m. "Rahul, is your salon being sold?" I laughed at her message. "No, Meera, we are just doing some repairs." "Why?" She replied with a photo. My heart stopped as I saw the image. The front door of our salon was gone, and in its place was a huge, flashy board saying, "Lux Cut Studio Grand Opening." The curtains were drawn aside, revealing new chairs, mirrors, and a chandelier. I enlarged the photo and saw Vikram, dressed in a sharp suit, cutting a ribbon. I called Vikram, but he didn't pick up. I called him again, but he declined the call. I called him 10 more times, but he never answered. My legs had gone numb as I sat on the floor of my bedroom, staring at the phone. Something wasn't right. It took me a few minutes to process the situation. My salon was gone, and Vikram had sold it to someone else. He had erased me from the map. The next day, I called all of our stylists. Most of them didn't answer my calls, and those who did barely said a word. I drove to the salon, but when I got there, Lux Cut Studio was open and bustling with activity. I walked into the place like a ghost and was immediately greeted by a receptionist. "Sir, do you have an appointment?" I ignored her and walked up to Vikram, who was talking with one of the new stylists. He turned around and saw me, and his expression changed. For a moment, I saw genuine fear in his eyes before he put on a fake smile. "Rahul," he said loudly, pretending that we were old friends catching up. "You shouldn't be here. This is a private place now." I wanted to scream in his face. Instead, I asked him, "Why?" He leaned in and whispered, "Because you were always the weak link, Rahul. I don't need a partner anymore. I need someone stronger to build this business with." He turned around and walked away, leaving me stunned. That was the moment I realized I didn't know Vikram at all. 7 years of my life had been spent in that little salon, and I had trusted Vikram to be my best friend. I stood there for a while, frozen in place. The room smelled of expensive perfume, not the cheap shampoo we had used in our salon. People I barely knew sat in the chairs I had picked out myself and laughed under the chandeliers that Vikram had installed. My partner and best friend walked around the place, serving champagne to his new clients like he had won the lottery. I left the salon and didn't look back. Not because I was afraid, but because I knew that if I stayed any longer, I would do something I would regret. That night I went to Mira's house and told her everything. She was the only one I trusted to understand what had happened. When I showed her the messages from Vikram and the pictures of his new salon, she didn't seem surprised at all. "It started a few months ago," she said. I overheard some of the stylists talking. Vikram had been meeting with investors all this time, and some of the staff knew about it. I felt physically ill at her words. It had all happened a few months ago, and I had been too busy with the paperwork to notice anything. Who else knew? I asked her. She hesitated before answering. Sonia knew. She was the most experienced one of us, and Vikram had promised to give her a raise when her mother got better. I called Sonia that night, but didn't get an answer. When she finally responded to my text the next day, I told her I wasn't mad at her. "I just want the truth," I said. "Tell me what Vikram said to you." She called me back an hour later and told me everything in a trembling voice. "He said that you sold your share and left the country," she whispered. "He said that you didn't care about us anymore, and that you were angry that he hadn't given you more money. He made us sign new contracts so that we wouldn't talk to you or tell anyone about the salon. If we did, we would lose our jobs." I was furious at Vikram, but I was also furious at myself. When he said that I had abandoned them, he had made it seem like it was the truth. I had believed him, and no one had corrected me. Vikram had stolen my business, my reputation, and my relationships. He had made me look like a villain in front of my clients and my best friend. The worst part was that he had done it all successfully. That night, I spent hours searching online for any information about Lux Cut Studio. I found out that Vikram had been secretly transferring money to his personal account for months. He had taken out a loan in my name to renovate the salon. I was furious, but I also felt betrayed. The truth was that being betrayed could either break you or make you stronger. I decided it would be the latter. The next morning, I posted a message on social media exposing Vikram and his investors. I wrote all the details about his secret meetings and included some of the photos from Mira's messages. I told my followers what he had done to me and his staff and urged them to boycott his salon. I didn't post anything about his betrayal of me, only about his treatment of his workers. It only took a few hours for my post to go viral. My phone lit up with notifications as my followers shared my post and commented on it. Some of them told me that they had already canceled their appointments at Lux Cut Studio. Others shared their own experiences with Vikram's employees and said that they had been overcharged for their services. Vikram called me later that day, but I didn't answer. When he called again, I finally picked up. "Rahul, take down the post," he said. "We can talk about this and work it out." I almost laughed at his words. "Work it out," I repeated. "You stole my business and made me look like a villain in front of my clients, and now you want to work it out." He tried to explain, saying that he hadn't wanted to do it, and that the investors had threatened him, but I didn't listen. "You had a choice, Vikram," I said. "You always had a choice." I hung up on him and blocked his number. The next day, I received a call from Vikram's lawyer. He told me that his client was suing me for defamation of character. I laughed as he explained that Vikram was taking me to court for spreading false information and damaging his reputation. When he was done, I forwarded the message to my lawyer. "Tell him to take it easy," she said. "He's only digging himself deeper. We have all the proof we need." She was right, but I knew it would take a long time for the case to go to court. In the meantime, Vikram would continue to profit from his lies, and I would have to watch him get away with it. The next morning, I started looking for a new place to open a salon. I needed something small, something I could afford to pay for myself. I called all the stylists who had worked for me and asked if they would be willing to join me. Most of them said yes, but a few were hesitant. They told me they didn't have any other offers and that they wanted to work for me again. Sonia was the first one to agree to leave Lux Cut Studio. "I can't stand working for Vikram anymore," she said. "He treats us like we're his employees, not his partners." One by one, the others followed her example, and soon I had a small but loyal team of stylists. In the meantime, the public was still talking about Vikram and his betrayal. Journalists from local newspapers contacted me and asked for an interview. I agreed to speak with them and told them about what had happened. I didn't say anything about Vikram's lies, only about his treatment of his employees. I wanted people to know that he wasn't a generous boss who cared about his workers' well-being. He was a greedy businessman who only cared about making money. The interviews went viral, and soon Vikram's reputation was in ruins. His social media posts were filled with negative comments, and many of his followers were calling him out for being a scam artist. A few days later, Mira organized a fundraiser for me. She contacted all of our old clients and asked them to donate to my new salon. To my surprise, many of them responded positively and sent money. I was touched when she gave me the envelope of cash the next day. "You gave us beautiful hair and honest services," she said. "Now let us give you something in return." That night, I cried myself to sleep, thinking about how generous everyone had been to me. Even though I had lost my business, I hadn't lost my community. In fact, I had gained something much more valuable than a salon. 3 months later, I opened my new place, True Cuts. It was small, but it was perfect for what I needed. Sonia and 3 other stylists had joined me, and we were all ready to start working. When I opened the doors in the morning, I was surprised to see a long line of customers waiting to get their hair done. Mira was the first one to walk in, followed by some of my old clients and a few journalists. She gave me a big hug and told me how proud she was of me. "You did it," she said. I smiled at her and wiped my tears away. The journey had been long, but it was over. Vikram's business was in ruins. His reputation was in shambles, and his employees were all but gone. He tried to change his business's name and reopen it, but no one was interested in going back to him. I watched from the sidelines as his life fell apart, and I felt nothing but satisfaction. Vikram had finally paid for his betrayal, and I was glad that it was over. In the end, the best revenge was living a better life than the person who had hurt you.